Heavy rains are finally winding down across the Bluegrass State. Up next, we'll focus on a weekend forecast that looks much drier and much colder.
A look tonight at just how dangerous flooding can be. The water kept one man from leaving his home. And we'll hear from another man whose son's Jeep was swept away.
A surprise tonight for people at Thursday Night Live in Lexington when former President Bill Clinton showed up unannounced.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good evening to you. Another round of storms brought heavy rain to much of Kentucky tonight, but it looks like we'll finally be getting a break.
The Friday forecast is looking much drier. We begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and your no-wait weather forecast. Chris, we need more than one day to dry out of this.
Yeah, we really do. We need a whole week and change. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen, though. We got to take what we can get, and that's a drying sky coming up tonight and tomorrow, and most of the coming weekend as well. Let's get into your Defender Radar Network that has been basically wall-to-wall showers and thunderstorms over the past several days. The threat for flooding is pretty much over now across central and eastern Kentucky. A fast-moving shower here, eastern parts of Knox County. We've got a few scattered between Moorhead and Winchester along Interstate 64, a couple into Stanton and Clay City across parts of Powell County. Lexington looking better. One more little round of some sprinkles or light showers that may dampen the ground briefly as it rolls its way across the region. That is right along our front that is separating that juicy air that we've been in for the past several days from some drier and better air. That is your Friday forecast coming into town. Hour by hour future radar into the overnight shows the drying trend settling in for the trip into work and school with temperatures around 50. Noontime, mid and upper 60s, sunshine into the afternoon. May I suggest you get out and do a little yard work tomorrow. Lawnmowers will be firing up, although the ground's still fairly wet going into the weekend. It's going to turn chilly. 72 for that high tomorrow, so yard work may be a must, especially when you see that new hour-by-hour forecast for the weekend. Guys, I've got a big blast of chilly air that is due in town. We'll time that with the hour-by-hour forecast and talk about the return of thunderstorms. It's still a busy outlook in a few minutes.
All right, what a spring it's been. In Madison County, heavy rain sent many creeks and streams out of their banks tonight, and that made some nearby roads impassable.
And in one case, it kept one man from being able to leave his home. Monique Blair continues our First Alert Weather Team coverage from Madison County.
This happens like 4 or 5 times a year.
Bert Turpin is talking about this. The roads around his home completely covered whenever Madison County gets pretty heavy rain, but he says he's used to it.
No, it doesn't bother me, but it does a lot of other people. It does.
Concord Road runs in front of Turpin's home, and it was shut down for about 2 hours Thursday evening.
And those signs were probably at high water. It comes across there and cuts the traffic off.
But perhaps it wasn't Concord Road that caused the biggest headache.
Bert Turpin tells me usually his neighbor who lives in this home moves his truck out of the way when he knows it's going to rain fairly hard. But as you can see, for now, he's stuck inside.
How long do you think until we see his driveway again?
Well, it depends on, he won't be able to get out of there till probably tomorrow if it quits raining.
Turpin says in the past he and his neighbors have asked for changes to be made to some of these low-lying areas. And although Turpin may be used to experiencing high water, he's afraid someone may travel through here who isn't.
This is something that someday some emergency is going to happen and somebody's going to pass away because of high water.
In Madison County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Well, you have heard the saying, turn around, don't drown when it comes to flash flooding. We tell you that all the time. And tonight we have an example of why you should never cross a flooded road. Officer Don flew over a swollen river in Anderson County today, getting this video of a Jeep that was swept away by water. The 3 people inside made it to safety. And new tonight, Garrett Weimer is talking to the father of that driver.
Travis Kurtzinger says nothing on the other side of Rice Road was worth the risk his son took trying to drive through high water.
We can buy another Jeep, but the 3 of them are not replaceable. And if something had happened to them, that's something that we'd have a hard time living with.
Kurtzinger says his teenage son was driving to a friend's house with 2 friends inside his Jeep when they came to the high water.
He had been across the creek several times before. He hadn't been down there a lot, and he said he knew it was up, but he just made a bad decision.
The water swept away their Jeep, but thankfully all three inside were able to get out and swim to the bank.
I think it scared him probably more than what he'll admit to. I think it was a wake-up call, to say the least.
The county's emergency management director says the water's about 6 or 7 feet deep, a scary sight for Kurt Singer to see after the fact.
Your heart kind of skipped a beat for a second because you just couldn't imagine that. I can't put myself in his place and think of what he was going through when the water took it away and started down the river with him and his friends in it.
Kurt Singer says it's an expensive lesson for his son to learn. He hopes others learn from it too.
And it's cost us a vehicle, and we're lucky that it didn't cost us somebody's life. And I just hope somebody sees that and maybe somebody won't make the same mistake he did.
In Anderson County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Well, they are certainly lucky. Tonight, a Garrett County family is worried about their home after a sinkhole opened up nearby. The family thinks the hole along Fork Church Road is about 30 feet deep. They think the sinkhole leads to an underground stream. The family's home has not been damaged, but they worry the sinkhole will continue to grow. They say they never expected something like this to happen.
I was standing out here and just started hearing a bunch of booming and things falling, the dirt falling in.
The owner of the home plans to fill in the sinkhole at some point, but there's no word on how long that could take. Remember, you can track storms along with the latest traffic with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. You can download it for free in the app or Google Play stores.
Former President Bill Clinton returned to Kentucky today to campaign for his wife Hillary. He spoke at rallies in Owensboro, Frankfort, and Prestonsburg. But it's an unannounced surprise stop he made in Lexington that's getting the most attention. He greeted people gathered for Thursday Night Live.
President Clinton has graced us with his presence this evening. We're not going to come down and check out Thursday Night Live. I think that says a lot about what downtown Lexington has to offer.
It's not every day that a former president takes a stroll on the streets of downtown Lexington. This Thursday Night Live crowd may never be the same.
He was the next president, and it's great to meet him. I'm so excited.
He was in just about every selfie imaginable. Group selfies, family selfies, and one-on-one selfies. People reaching to shake his hand, touch his shoulder, or capture the moment for years to come. The Secret Service and police presence were heavy, but that didn't stop the screams of delight. Bill Clinton carried Kentucky in his run for office, and it appeared much of that charm had these folks overwhelmed.
I said I could be my brother if I got my picture taken with Bill Clinton.
Just a little excited there. Former President Clinton's last stop of the day was at a rally supporting his wife in Prestonsburg. He told the crowd there at an elementary school that Hillary Clinton has the best plan to help people in coal country find jobs. And he had this message at a rally this afternoon in Frankfort.
If there is anybody in the entire Commonwealth of Kentucky that knows what happens to education, health care, and the long-term economic welfare of the state, if you have Republicans-only government, you do, because if it weren't for the Democratic House, you would be in a world of hurt today.
He also said Hillary Clinton's experience as a U.S. Senator and Secretary of State proves that she can keep America safe and grow the economy. Hillary Clinton's opponent in the Democratic presidential primary, Bernie Sanders, will campaign in Kentucky this weekend. He'll hold a rally at the historic Rail Park and Train Museum in Bowling Green on Saturday night. And Sanders will hold another rally at the Julian Carroll Convention Center in Paducah on Sunday afternoon. Kentucky's primary is Tuesday.
New tonight, Kentucky attorney Andy Beshear has appointed a special prosecutor in the case against his former deputy. Tim Longmire has already pled guilty to a federal bribery charge, but Beshear plans to file state charges against him. He first said he would prosecute the case himself, but announced today he's changed his mind, citing a conflict of interest. The Franklin County Commonwealth's attorney will handle the case. Investigators say Longmire steered contracts to a firm in exchange for kickbacks.
Honoring a hero by car, bus, and even bike. Friends and family of a fallen Richmond police officer have made the trip to Washington, D.C. to salute him. That's in 9 minutes.
And then a Tennessee girl is safe tonight, more than a week after investigators say her uncle abducted her. How police say she was found.
Clients come into the office. The government has said, no, I don't believe you. You're not disabled.
The major problem with Social Security disability is that most people who sign up are denied at the initial level. If your claim's denied, don't give up. Call us immediately. We'll appeal your case.
We can do an effective job of representing you that will get you the benefits that you deserve.
Call Morgan, Collins, and Yeast, 1-800-55-WILDCAT.
American workers know how to fight back and rebuild an economy. So does she.
We need jobs that provide dignity and a bright future.
New penalties to stop companies from moving profits or jobs overseas. For businesses that create manufacturing jobs, a new tax credit. And let's invest in clean energy jobs with 500 million solar panels installed by the end of her first term. A real plan to create new jobs and industries of the future. Hillary Clinton.
I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message.
Step right up for something fun. For just $1, the excitement's begun. The game's called Keno, and you can play it in an alley. Or you can play it with your best friend, Sally. You can play it here or there. You can play it almost anywhere. Play with many numbers or just a few. How you play is all up to you. You can put down a little or put down a lot. So what do you say? Give Keno a shot. Just pick your numbers and hope you win, and a few minutes later, you can play it again. Now you can play Keno wherever Kentucky Lottery games are sold, fueling imagination, funding education.
It's Toyota time at Green's Toyota of Lexington during their Toyota Time sales event going on this weekend. 0% financing on 10 different Toyota models, including the new 2016 Avalon, Camry, Corolla, Prius, RAV4, and Sienna, with up to $2,500 in customer cash available. And save up to $5,000 off MSRP on new Toyotas with our Green Saver coupon. Hurry in to Kentucky's #1 Toyota dealer, Green's Toyota.
Great people, great cars, think Greens.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you. Follow WKYT on Twitter. Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Well, to say it's been a little wet around here would be an understatement. It has been downright soggy across the Bluegrass State, really for most of the month of May. We've been cruising along through the majority of April with not a whole lot of rain. And then we started to say, you know what, I think May's going to more than make up for it. And here we are. Since Saturday, look at the rainfall totals that Defender is estimating across central and eastern Kentucky. Upwards of 6 inches of rain into parts of the Bluegrass region. Eastern Kentucky, we've had some 3- and 4-inch amounts, but the greatest concentration in the oranges and the reds, 4, 5, and 6 inches just since Saturday. Still adding to that just a little bit, Defender Radar Network with a couple of bands of showers working on through the area. Far cry, though, from where we have been over the past couple of days. Cold front is on the move. That's the good guy in all this right now. Winds are coming from the west and the northwest, but that is a slightly cooler but a drier brand of air certainly coming into play later tonight and for the day tomorrow. High pressure that is out across the Plain States right now. That's the good guy for your Friday forecast. Much better weather rolls into town tomorrow. Tomorrow by far is the pick day of this week and likely for the next week and change. Yeah, we've got some more ugly. Leading the charge on some of that ugly for the weekend is a strong cold front. It's a pattern that looks like it's out of wintertime setting up across the eastern part of the country. Cold air diving in across the eastern part of the country. This gives us, believe it or not, a late weekend frost threat as we go into Sunday and Monday. Here's how we get there. Hour by hour forecast. Starts you out 7 o'clock on your Friday. Low 50s. Noontime tomorrow. Sun slowly but surely taking over. Upper 60s to around 70. 5 o'clock on your Friday. Best time of the week. We go toward your Friday evening. Got a night out on the town? You look to be in good shape. How about up and at 'em early on Saturday? Not so good shape. Showers, thunderstorms ahead of a cold front. It's the type of a setup that can actually give us a little small, soft hail with some of those gusty showers and storms Saturday morning. And then the cold air comes in behind that. Noontime on Saturday, low and mid 50s, still a chance for a shower. Mix of sun and clouds, upper 50s, maybe as good as we can get for your high temperature on Saturday. You'll need a jacket for dinner and date night on Saturday. How about your Sunday morning forecast? Green thumbs? And my thumb isn't so green, maybe yours is. Mid 30s to begin the day on Sunday. If winds are calm, you get some frost. Into Sunday afternoon, think it's going to improve? All right, we'll hit 60, maybe some low 60s. Smallest threat for a little shower in the northern parts of Kentucky. We keep that chilly air into Monday morning, and then as soon as the temperatures start to come back up, we go into a pattern that looks eerily similar to the one we're coming out of. Starting late Monday and into the middle and end of next week, rounds of thunderstorms are back in the bluegrass state. That's why I say tomorrow's the best day you're going to see this week, and it's the best day you're likely to see over the next week. Weekend, the potential for a little frost in there. So we call it a frosty break from the storms as we go into Sunday morning, especially, guys. Chance for a little touch of frost.
Well, thank goodness we're going to at least get Friday, because our Saturday is not looking so hot.
Saturday doesn't look good. We have a lot of events coming up Saturday morning in Lexington especially. Yeah, you're going to need the windbreakers out
You
there
and I
for
both.
those walks.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
Need the windbreakers.
And they were involved in a custody dispute over their baby earlier this year, but it appears Bristol Palin and Dakota Meyer have put that all behind them. An update in 8 minutes.
Nancy Jo Kemper, a trusted minister, a single mother who worked to put her kids through school, and now running to fight for us in Congress.
People in Kentucky are struggling. It's time to invest in jobs and protect Social Security, but Washington seems only interested in protecting the very wealthy. It's time to fix this broken system and focus on people once again.
It's time for a leader who serves.
I'm Nancy Jo Kemper, and I approve this message.
A season pass to Kentucky Kingdom is only $59.95. And with benefits like free parking and dollar drinks, a season pass pays for itself in just one visit. And enjoy the rest of the summer for free. Stop by your local Kroger store to get yours today. But hurry, offer ends soon.
Right now, fresh ground beef is just $2.99 a pound. And pick up a package of Kroger cheese for $1.88. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
Bluegrass RV has more than 300 new and used RVs in stock. So many ways to bring indoor comfort to your outdoor adventures. Financing options with payments so low you can have fun year-round. Bluegrass RV is celebrating new owners and new management at our grand opening event Saturday, May 21st. Meet stars from Kentucky's 96 NCAA championship team from 10 till noon. Free barbecue, rain or shine. Come see us on North Broadway in Lexington, where good times begin.
We started with the class-leading RX. We gave it paddle shifters to help you command the road. A sport mode to help you control the road. And a sport-tuned suspension to help you connect with the road. The Lexus RX F-Sport. This is the RX Elevated. Lease the 2016 RX 350 for $419 a month for 36 months. See your Lexus dealer.
The system is rigged. There's not enough good jobs. It's harder to get ahead. And Washington is broken. We need leaders that put our country ahead of party. I'm a businessman, not a politician. I don't believe every Democratic idea is a good idea or every Republican idea is a bad one. I'll take good ideas from both sides and put Kentucky first. I'm Jim Gray. I sponsored this ad to make our state stronger and more prosperous.
Jim Gray, Kentucky first.
This weekend, the names of 6 fallen Kentucky police officers will be added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C.
One of them is Richmond officer Daniel Ellis, who was killed in the line of duty last fall. His family, friends, and fellow police officers have already made the trip to Washington to honor him. Alex Miller has the story.
It was an afternoon of cheers and tears. Thousands of officers finished biking hundreds of miles from across the country, all to honor a fallen police officer close to their heart.
He was a really great police officer that loved his community and his family.
For Kelly Fraze, that officer was her bike patrol partner, Daniel Ellis of the Richmond Police Department. He was killed in November during the pursuit of a suspect. This week, Fraze pedaled for him. And when the ride got tough, she thought about her partner.
I just didn't want to stop and let him down.
Fraze rode for 3 days before reaching the National Law Enforcement Memorial with thousands of people cheering her on. One of them, Ellis's wife, Katie. And for her, those crowds were comforting.
It's encouraging to know that you're not alone and there's others that have walked this journey before you.
Katie and 28 of her husband's fellow officers will make the journey to see his name etched in concrete. something she said she's never seen before.
His headstone's not ready yet, so it just really made it real.
It's barely been half a year, and for those who knew Ellis, the healing remains very new.
It's slow, but we're making it.
It's still pretty fresh to us.
But part of healing is remembering.
He's touched a lot of lives alive and after he passed.
And making sure everyone remembers the sacrifice people like Officer Daniel Ellis make every day.
He was willing to go in there when others weren't.
Reporting in Washington, Alex Miller, WKYT.
And WKYT Sean Moody will be in Washington, D.C. covering the ceremonies to honor Kentucky's fallen heroes. You can see his report starting tomorrow on WKYT News at 6.
New tonight, a missing Tennessee girl has been found safe more than a week after an Amber Alert was issued for her. Police say that 9-year-old Carly Trent's uncle, Gary Simpson, checked her out of school last Wednesday and the two disappeared. This afternoon, police say 2 men found Carly and Simpson in a remote area of Hawkins County near Kingsport. They say one man held Simpson at gunpoint while the other called 911. Police say Carly appeared to be okay, but she was taken to a hospital to be checked out. They arrested Simpson and charged him with aggravated kidnapping.
We have some new information tonight about the case against a man accused of killing a UK employee. A hearing was held this afternoon for Mark Taylor, who's charged with murder and kidnapping. Lexington police say Taylor and Timothy Ballard beat Alex Johnson to death in 2013 before dumping his body in the Kentucky River. During today's hearing, the defense asked that money and drugs police say they found on Taylor when they arrested him not be used as evidence in the trial. Prosecutors claim those items were stolen from Johnson, but the defense claims that can't be proven. The judge plans to discuss the issue next week. Ballard has already entered a guilty plea in the case. New tonight, police are trying to figure out what led to the deaths of 3 people whose bodies were found in the Ohio River this week. They say 2 of the bodies were found near Owensboro, the other near Troy, Indiana. Police say one of the bodies had a gunshot wound in the head and ligature marks around the neck. They think that body had been in the water a day or two, but they say the other 2 were badly decomposed. None of the bodies have been identified.
New tonight, what police say started with an argument over a parking spot at a truck stop ended with a man being taken to jail. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office charged 39-year-old Cornelius Dixon with wanton endangerment. Deputies say witnesses told them Dixon and a truck driver got into an argument over the parking spot, and Dixon pointed a gun at the other driver. When deputies arrived, they say Dixon had the gun on his hip.
It appears Bristol Palin and Kentucky native Dakota Meyer have settled the differences over custody of their daughter. According to our news partners at the Lexington Herald-Leader, Palin has added Meyer's last name to the birth certificate of their baby, Sailor Grace. And on social media, the two say they're co-parenting. Earlier this year, Meyer had gone to court seeking custody of the baby before a judge awarded them joint custody. Palin is former vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin's daughter. Meyer is a Medal of Honor recipient.
Up next, Rob Bromley, and we hear from the Cats at the NBA Combine. Rob.
They are in Chicago showing what they can do. Marcus Lee talks about his chances of staying in the draft, and Tyler Eulis says his game is different. How so? Stay with us. It's all up next in sports.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on 100.1 WKQQ.
Here's a fun way to control your luck. It's a game called Keno. You can start with $1. You pick your numbers, your odds, and your wager. And the winnings, well, they could be major. Just pick your numbers and hope you win. A few minutes later, you can play it again. Now play Keno wherever Kentucky lottery games are sold.
If you're doing everything right, but find it harder and harder to get by, you're not alone. While our people work longer hours for lower wages, almost all new income goes to the top 1%. My plan? Make Wall Street banks and the ultra-rich pay their fair share of taxes. Provide living wages for working people. Ensure equal pay for women. I'm Bernie Sanders. I approve this message because together we can make a political revolution and create an economy and democracy that works for all and not just the powerful few.
Lexington Overstock Warehouse is open this weekend for our big weekend warehouse sale. Get quality furniture and mattresses at incredibly low prices. Stylish sofa $297. Ashley sectional $597. Go to LexingtonOverstockWarehouse.com for more details.
Friday's Mega Millions jackpot is $161 million, and Saturday's Powerball jackpot is $50 million.
Looking for the best boat your money can buy? Check out Tracker, Nitro, Sun Tracker, and Tahoe boats. Backed by the best factory warranties in the business. And Tracker is holding the line on pricing. Most 2016 boats are at or below last year's prices. Like the 2016 Tracker Protein 190 TX for $1,100 below the 2014 price. 2016 boats at 2015 prices at the Bass Pro Shops Tracker Boating Center in Corbin.
A season pass to Kentucky Kingdom is only $59.95. And with benefits like free parking and dollar drinks, a season pass pays for itself in just one visit. And enjoy the rest of the summer for free. Stop by your local Kroger store to get yours today. But hurry, offer ends soon.
Right now, fresh ground beef is just $2.99 a pound. And pick up a package of Kroger cheese for $1.88. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
It's not too big and it's not too small.
Chevrolet's crossovers come in 3 sizes: Trax, Equinox, and Traverse.
Who wants to sit in it?
I do.
Shotgun.
Oh, wow. This car matches me. I like this. It's a perfect fit.
Get more than you expect for less than you imagined from the Chevrolet crossover family.
Current qualified GM lessees can get this Chevy Equinox LT for around $199 a month. See your Kentucky Select Chevy dealers.
Don?
Ned?
Trump?
Cruz?
Congress?
Mike Pape. You?
Yeah, Mike Pape. Unlike James Comer, who refuses to repeal Obamacare, Mike Pape will repeal Obamacare.
And unlike Comer, who's for Obama's amnesty, Mike Pape is against amnesty and will build the wall.
Mike Pape is a trusted conservative.
He'll make America great again.
I'm Mike Pape, and I approve this message.
They are players who came to Kentucky and now they are hopeful of taking their game on to the next level. Brent Carney is on hand for the NBA Combine in Chicago.
4 former Wildcats from last year's team, plus Kyle Wiltshire here in Chicago working out. Of them, only Marcus Lee leaving the door open to a possible return to school, saying today he's not 100% about entering the draft, but it's pretty clear he's awfully close.
I see it at a solid maybe 85%, 87% right now. Still have a couple more things to do, get a little bit more feedback to see where I am. I mean, when you get here, you have to be either all in or you're not going to do well. So mentally, you always have to be thinking that you're gonna be gone, and that's how I'm feeling right now.
The reason for my year last year, I don't know. I tried. I did everything that Coach Cat asked me to do. I give my best to the team, and that's all I can say.
I'm trying to prove that I belong in the league. I mean, that's what I have to do this next whatever month until the draft. I have to not only play well here, just continue to improve.
Why are you different than everybody else here?
I'm shorter. Nah,
I wasn't gonna go there.
But no, I feel like my game's a lot different. My IQ, not many point guards now, are thinking the game the way I think. I don't believe so. I feel like my feel for the game is a lot different.
Surefire lottery pick Jamal Murray is also here, but he did not participate in the media session. In Chicago, Brent Carney, WKYT.
Kentucky baseball on the road in the SEC for the final time this season, opening a 3-game series down at Ole Miss. Down 1-0, freshman Tristan Pompey squares one up, a rope to right center, and that is gone. His 6th of the year, tied it up 1-1. Tough break for Kentucky, down 2-1. Troy Squires strikes out, but the catcher has to tag him. Squires running to first. The throw gets away from the first baseman. 2 runs appear to score, but hold the phone. Squires called out for running inside the base path. In the 8th, the Rebels get another break. Colby Borders with a nice grab to start a 5-4-3 double play. Hairston beats the throw, but he's out. Kentucky drops game 1, 3-1. Game 2 is tomorrow night. The softball Wildcats opening the SEC tournament this afternoon, taking on 7-seed LSU in Starkville. Megan Prince got the start, but in the 5th, SEC Pitcher of the Year Kelsey Nunley came on in relief. Sandra Simmons greeting her with a 3-run homer. 3-0 LSU. Stay that way into the 7th. Katie Reed puts Kentucky right back into the game. Line drive to right center. It would score. Macy Steed made it 3-1, but Silver Samuel would then pop out to the catcher in the following at bat, and this play ended the game. LSU goes on to win it 3-1. Kentucky making it official, announcing the hiring of Matt House to the football staff. He will coach inside linebackers and special teams. House, 37 years old. He spent last season as Florida International's defensive coordinator. Before that, a couple of seasons as Pitt's defensive coordinator. He has also coached in the NFL. Nyquist jogging again today at Pimlico on a wet track. Trainer Doug O'Neill arrived from California. The Derby winner is unbeaten in 8 lifetime starts, 7 of them major graded stakes wins. Many of his wins have been in spite of trouble, and O'Neill is just thankful to be a part of it.
Yeah, every race, you just you pinch yourself and realize how privileged you are to be around and to be part of such a great horse in Nyquist.
And round 1 of the Players' Championship in Florida. Jason Day had a birdie putt on every hole. He made half of them, a 9-under 63 and a 2-shot lead. Jordan Spieth playing for the first time since his disaster at the Masters. He could do no better than an even par 72. He took a 7 here on the par 5 ninth. Rory McIlroy also shooting 72. J.B. Holmes came in with a 70. We'll be right back.
Right now, at the all-new Big M Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, formerly Chrysler on Nicholasville, get 25% off MSRP on all remaining new 2015s in stock. During the Drive and Discover event, new 2016 Jeep Cherokees, $199 a month. Visit BigMSuperstore.com.
All right, come on, everybody, it's time to go.
Getting more for your money is simpler than you might think. When you shop at Kroger, you get low prices throughout the store, weekly specials, great value from our quality brands, digital coupons, and even fuel points to help you save at the pump. No spin, just savings.
Treat your family to boneless pork loin for $1.59 a pound. And red seedless grapes are just $1.48 a pound. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
Kentucky Lottery jackpot sequence has been initiated. Prepare for current jackpot amount.
Friday's Mega Millions jackpot is $161 million.
Welcome to Toyota Time. Tons of awesome vehicles. Great deals for everyone. Thanks. Low APR financing. Woo! Here's your balloon.
Coffee.
Shoulders. Water. I have the best team. Oh, here I come.
Now, during Toyota Time, get a Sienna with the best resale value in its class and 0% financing for 60 months. Or lease Sienna for $279 a month.
Here you go. And here I go.
Toyota, let's go places.
The world a president has to grapple with. Sometimes you can't even imagine. That's the job. And she's the one who's proven she can get it done. Securing a massive reduction in nuclear weapons, standing up against the abuse of women, protecting Social Security, expanding benefits for the National Guard, and winning health care for 8 million children. The presidency is the toughest job in the world. And she's the one who'll make a real difference for you.
I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message.
It's Toyota Time at Green's Toyota of Lexington during their Toyota Time sales event going on this weekend. 0% financing on 10 different Toyota models, including the new 2016 Avalon, Camry, Corolla, Prius, RAV4, and Sienna, with up to $2,500 in customer cash available. And save up to $5,000 off MSRP on new Toyotas with our Green Saver coupon. Hurry in to Kentucky's #1 Toyota dealer, Green's Toyota.
Great people, great cars, think Greens.
What we do is not about sickness. It's about living. All of life's moments, big and small. Each triumph and challenge. Because you were made to live, and live well. And we're here to make sure you do. Let us show you how care is supposed to be. Lexington Clinic. Your doctors for life.
Peace of mind is what you'll receive at the all-new Big M Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, because every certified premium vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty at no additional cost. 100% parts, 100% labor, zero deductible. Visit BigMSuperstore.com.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you. Follow WKYT on Twitter.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is less than a minute away here on WKYT, and tonight's guests include Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe.
Can you believe it? We're going to get a break tomorrow from all this crazy weather.
You know how it's going to be a good day?
No.
Because the emojis are back tonight, huh? No more first alert severe weather days, at least for a few. 50 tomorrow morning when you wake up, low 70s tomorrow afternoon. The emojis are all smiles and some shades on. Yeah, then those frowns return for the weekend.
That's
59,
horrible.
could be a shower, thunderstorm around 60. Look at that sad, sad face on Sunday morning.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.